and thank you for coming because this is an issue that is very important for us to discuss. I think for your first time coming to Fargo, I had an interview with you, and now I think you are in your 3 years or 3 years thereabout, right? Because you
About
were
3 years old. Yeah, brand new. Yeah, yeah.
26, 2021, July. Yeah, so we also need to see or scrutinize you on what is going on, whether you are okay with whatever you are doing, if there's any challenges and all that, which it's not only your office, but at least any office need to be have this interview with, but to set the ball rolling. This is Art Network. Those of you watching us and those of you listening to us on Art Network, we are going to have interaction with our first director of diversity, equity, and inclusion. He's the first, so he has already made history already. So whether you like it or not, my name is Charles, and I'm going to have Dr. Terry on the line right now. Doctor, let me first ask this question: how has the transition since you started on July 6th, 2021, and what have you accomplished so far in your role as diversity, equity, and inclusion in Fargo?
Well, first and foremost, Charles, I want to say thank you for having your platform
Mhm.
and reaching out to as many people in and out of Fargo and around the nation as much as possible. This is the kind of platforms that we do need here in America. This is the kind of platforms that we do need in regards to getting out all the information to the people and so forth, because we as people of color, we do have a voice. We do have a voice, and I'm going to be harping on that throughout this entire session. And the voice is voting. Now, in reference to your question of my transition into the city of Fargo, you know, in 2021, obviously, you guys know that was time during COVID. And I had just retired in 2021 from teaching in higher education in Illinois, which is Chicago. I taught for a very, very, very long time, enjoyed every moment of it. The courses that I taught was public policy and or political science, and of course, sociology. And I did that from the master's and the PhD level. At the same time, I will submit and admit to you guys is that basically I was doing diversity, equity, and inclusion before all of these certification programs came into existence. So, in answer to your question, um, the transition to Fargo has been smooth. The transition into the organization has been smooth. The transition in regards to the community has been smooth. So, with that being said, I don't have anything negative to say about this great city of Fargo. I am here to do the people's work. I am here to collaborate with individuals like yourself and other communities and so forth, and just do what I need to do.
Wow. Thank you very much for this answer, and I believe everybody is listening. For those of you listening or watching this right now, if you want to come on the line for any questions after interaction or after answering all his questions, you can jump in by calling 662-609-3624 to ask any question you want to ask Terry Hogan, because he is our father in the community. Whenever we need help, we need to reach to him for whatever he is doing, because I see him as a father in Fargo here. Believe me, when I lift up my head and there is a problem in the community, he is the one that comes first before anything else. Doctor, let's go forward.
Yes.
I know in every area there is the challenges. In your area, what are some of the challenges that you have faced while building more inclusive communities in Fargo?
To be totally transparent, with your audience. Awareness. I found myself when I first came to this great city of Fargo back in 2021. Mind you, nobody knew what diversity, equity, and inclusion was all
Mhm.
about. And I found myself doing what I do best, and that is educating the entire fabric in regards to diversity, equity, and inclusion. One of the things that I wanted people to know, first and foremost, of me giving them the definition of what diversity, equity, and inclusion was all about, so that they would have a clear understanding of those acronyms. However, at the same time, too, I wanted people to know um, all it gets to the point is that they stigmatize a diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I wanted people to understand and to know, in fact, that Dr. Hogan is here in the city of Fargo is to bring people together, not divide. Bring people together and not divide. And so that was upon me explaining diversity, equity, and inclusion, because so many people have so many stigmatization when it comes down to just words, you see. And with that being said, I just wanted folks to understand. Now, another thing is that I incurred when I came here is basically engaging people, engaging them. I want a communities that I speak with on a regular basis when I'm going out to these events, get involved. That is a challenge within itself, is get involved.
Mhm.
Because I work in local elections, I work in local government. And
Mhm.
with that being said, I want folks to understand that everything starts at the local level,
Mhm.
even before it gets to the state, even before it gets to the federal government. Everything starts at the local level. So, upon me educating folks, we get into the practices of me telling them by and large, listen, what you need to do is get involved in your local politics. If it's just bringing your community to the forefront, just having people to know who you are, is putting your cultural and your ethnicity out there so
Mhm.
that we can become that entire community, not fitting just one, but fitting all. And last but not least, I wanted that fitting all to be sustainable, to be
Wow.
sustainable. I just didn't want just that one time. I want us to come together and keep it going,
Okay.
because we do have a voice as people of color in America, you
Yes.
see. And so I wanted to share that from an educational standpoint.
Thank you very much. You mentioned a lot
You're
of
welcome.
things I'm so
Yeah.
excited about. All what you are saying is consolidation of the community.
Mhm.
All of us, inclusive. You don't have to be exclusive. You need to be part of whatever that is going on. But let me ask this question before we go on. You have been here almost 3 years. Do you think the community really understands your job?
You know, again, if I may be totally transparent,
Mhm.
that has been a challenge.
Okay.
That has been a challenge within itself towards having people to understand diversity, equity, and inclusion. Because when people come to this country, when people come to this city, my job is basically to have them to feel inclusive. My job is basically to have them feel welcome. So, how do you do that? Well, Dr. Hogan, you are basically staying in the community, explaining what diversity is all about, which is differences. And when differences come together, it can make a difference because all perspectives are to the advantage. And equity is all about fairness. And inclusion is just what it is. I am there, I am included, and therefore I belong. And that's my job. So, in answer to your question, that has been a challenge within itself. But you know what? I don't give up because it's what I do. I
Okay.
don't give up
Okay.
because I love people. I don't give up because even it's part of the job, but it's just human nature.
Okay.
It's just human nature.
Okay. It is human nature. So now, in every situation, if there is a challenge, there should be a solution to that challenge. What do you think would be extremely helpful to let the community understand? I know you have leaders that you interact with, meeting them here and there.
You know,
Are they also helping your office to for the community understand? Because I know you have more than 180 something people that under you, taking care of them. You are type that whenever anyone invite you, you don't hesitate, but you make sure you will be there. Even if you don't have time, you let a person know that, please, I have to attend this, so I'll be with you in a short time or whatever. I have witnessed that. Now, how do the community leaders assist you to help the community? Because it's a very, very big tax you are having right now.
well, as it stands right now, and believe it or not, more and more of the leaders now are getting more and more involved. I've gotten to the point that one of the things that I suggested when
Okay.
I first came to the city of Fargo is that we must bring this community together. We must bring this new American community together, you see. And I have been preaching and instructing and in teaching that since I have been here since 2021, as of this year. Now, mind you, I've spoken with various leaders throughout the process, but as of this year, we have begun to get together and to have strategies and have a dialogue on how we can do things together towards having our voice heard in this great, great, great city. So, with that being said, in years past, it has been a struggle. I'll be totally honest. It has been a struggle. You know, leaders have heard is that Dr. Hogan is here. But at the same time, too, have you gone out and told your people? You understand? Because, see, I am here to be a voice. I am here to help in every way. I am not here to hinder anyone. I am here to do whatever I can to make sure that each and every one of us have social upward mobility. So it is more and more to the advantage of what we're doing right now. Matter of fact, on the weekends, I am at events each and every weekend, whether it's Liberian, whether it's Sudanese, whether it's Congo, I am at these events because I want people to understand and to know, in fact, is that I'm here. And I want people to understand and know, in fact, is that I'm here to help. And I want people to know and understand is that there's a voice. There's a voice. And I'm that voice is to help them to get from point A to point B.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Hogan. There are some things you said that I myself have witnessed. That, yes, some gatherings, I see you there. Some that you don't even know Charles is coming there, but I see you there. I ask myself, this man is everywhere.
Everywhere.
And that's
Everywhere.
the nature of your job. And I thank you for that. You always be there for the diversity. Let me put it that way. Not only, you know what I'm saying. Now,
Absolutely.
my next question is that how do you plan to address the equity gaps in, and what step are you taking to provide access to opportunities and resource for all?
Well, first and foremost, let me just suggest this. As all of you know, I was a former professor, and that never leaves who I am. Data. Data drives everything. Data drives everything. One of the first things that I did when I came here I get so excited when I'm on the radio and TV because I love to explain what I do.
Good.
One of the most important things that I wanted to do when I first came to the city of Fargo,
Mhm.
and I brought my initiative, and my initiative was basically to do an environmental scan of the internal and external staff. I wanted to do a citywide climate assessment, is to see what people, persons, individuals thought about the city of Fargo, more
Mhm.
so their political structure.
Mhm.
So data is one of the most pivotal processes that I normally go by to give me factual information towards what I need. Another
Mm-hmm.
thing that I need to I do is that I work closely with stakeholders. I work closely with the community. I
Mm-hmm.
work closely with in and out of the state because I'm always trying to find resources that can help me to improve my social viability being here in the city of Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a guy that loves to look at policies. Matter of fact, I'm going to be working with the Human Resource Department to introduce inclusive policies. I think that is vitally important. Inclusive policies, because when people come to the city of Fargo, and let me be very, very clear when I say this, when people come to the city of Fargo, they want to feel welcome. They want to feel equitable.
Mm-hmm.
They want to feel belong. You understand? Not only is that my job, but again, it's human nature. When I came to the city of Fargo, I had Charles was one of the first persons to make me feel welcome. And there's many others. And that made me feel good because coming into the unknown, if you will, coming to a small city from a big city and traveling the world in regards to these big cities, you know, I wanted to know what I was walking into. So with that being said, I think that when you collaborate with the entire community and so forth, is that things begin to come a little easier and so forth. And and building these policies and building these policies and so forth, when you talk to people and you can tell them that you have inclusive policies, that makes a difference. So that community engagement is a pivotal part of me doing what I'm doing based off of data driven assets.
Wow. Wow, doctor. If anyone who puts themselves in your shoe, they will really, really understand the work you are doing. You are doing great. Sometimes I think about you, ask myself, do you even sleep? Because I know number of times and number of times that I've tested you, but you still reply me at that time. I ask myself, do this man sleep? Thank you very much for everything you are doing. Those who don't appreciate whatever you are doing, I am like I am standing like a millions of people. If I comprehend whatever you are doing, the rest will also understand whatever you are doing. My next question is that you did mention about certain initiatives, but then what initiative have you implemented to support underrepresented section of the community in Fargo?
Well, first and foremost is training and development.
Okay.
Training and development is one of the most educational part of doing DEI work because when people don't understand, you know, I tell folks all the time, it's really not your fault is that you don't understand. But once I try to give you some cognitive understanding of what DEI does, then just go and do your own pivotal research. You see, I've said it over and over again, and even to the naysayers out there, I am not here to separate. I'm here to bring together. This is what I do holistically. Okay, I try to be interactive and I try to bring people together. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm sorry that these words are stigmatized, but me and what I do, and I've been doing this over 20 plus years, is all about cohesiveness. Is all about people. If you don't understand, feel free to come and talk to me. That is part of training and development, and which I have instituted internally and or externally. One of the things that I want to suggest when you look at these initiatives is talking to the community and finding out what their needs are. That is pivotal to me because see, once I can understand your needs and your wants, it is up to me to
Yeah.
go back to the mayor, to go back to the city administrator and say, you know what, this is one of the things that I've come across, and I think we may need to look into it. Charles, let me just be very, very transparent again.
Okay.
One of the things that I did when I first came to the city of Fargo, and I wasn't even hired, but it's just my social science nature.
Okay.
I talked to people randomly in the downtown area of Broadway, because that's where City Hall was located. I wanted to know, do you know your mayor? Do you know your city administrator? Do you know your clerk? You know, I wanted to know if you had any kind of inkling of who these folks are. Because see, these are the folks that, number one, you have put into office through elections. These are the folks, number two, that have basically they run your government. These are the folks, number three, is that you pay your taxes to. So
Mhm.
you should know who these folks are.
Absolutely.
Who these folks are. Because see, this is where your voice comes from, you see. And I will also admit and submit to you, when people found out that there was a man of color in City Hall, I was just overrun with people who just came to see me. And did it bother me one bit? No, because it is my job. I want people to get involved, because when we have elections in the city at a local level, which is some of the lowest turnout in cities and local government, I want people to come out and to vote. I want people to come out and make a change, because first of all, don't be about it, talk about it. Change begins with us. So when you're looking at all of these initiatives and so forth, policy, assessments, and all of these gamuts, if you will, you want to make sure is that people can understand beyond a reasonable doubt what you do, what I do as an organization within city government, trying to make things easier for them.
Wow, doctor. You mentioned something. Everything you mentioned was splendid, but you did mention, and this goes to the community. Don't be about, but get involved.
Mhm.
Don't be about, but get involved.
Absolutely.
Sometimes some of the community members, I will say it because I know. One, they think if you are a citizen, make sure you involve yourself when it comes to vote, because your vote is your power. If Charles is doing something you don't like, and I'm contesting for a diversity director or as a mayor or something, and I'm not doing right, you need to use your vote to vote for the right person. Our voice needs to be heard. We are in a community that previously we don't even know what we are doing, but now three years from now, we have diversity director here in Fargo who is making sure that everybody gets their fair share. It's not about sharing something, but for you to know that wherever you belong to, yes, you belong here. No one have that audacity to tell you that you don't belong here. Because when it comes to the economy, the growth of the economy, we are all part of it. And that is why diversity is important. And last question before we talk about anything else.
Charles, let me say this. Charles, let me say this very quickly too, just
Okay.
to add to what you said. To all my Fargoans, all my strong Fargoans, we have an election that's coming up in 2 years here in the city of Fargo. And we have 3 seats that is going to be available.
3.
One seat is very pivotal, is going to be the mayor in 2026. The other 2 seats are going to be commissions. If you want change in your city, you have to be part of that change. Let me just be clear. If you want change in your city, you have to be part of that change. Now, Dr. Hogan, how do you do that? Well, let's be clear. If you can register to vote, find a way to register to vote. Be the change that happens in your city. Because I am a strong advocate is that we need diversity in our city government. Okay, we need diversity in our city government. Now, what does that diversity mean? We need differences on that panel, on that commission. And see, and you can be that difference
Thank you.
on that commission. It is vitally important is that you guys take voting and register to vote seriously, Because if you don't, you're going to get the same old thing. And that's the thing. Now, if you don't care, if you don't care and you don't want to vote, please don't complain.
Thank you.
And let's be very clear. Please don't complain. Voting is the most pivotal power that you ever can have in an election system. We are a democracy. Regardless, voting is the most power that you and I have. So in order to exercise that power, let me be clear. In order to exercise that power, you have to register to vote. And if you do it now, whatever obstacles that they say you may need, get it done. So when voting practices come around in 2 years, you are ready to vote. Be part of the change. Thank you.
My last question, thank you very much. In fact, that is powerful, man. And my last question is that how do you envision the future of Fargo in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion? I know you have said it all, but
I'll say it again.
What step are taken to make Fargo and should I say equitable place to live, work, and engaged with the community? Because there are so many things that is going on in the community that, like I said, some people don't even know that Terry Hogan is here. And that is where sometimes I get pissed when it comes to the leaders around. But you do mention that you're working with them and everything is okay. But where it's okay, but I want it to be better than that. You know, I'm not afraid of saying it because I want it to be better than what it is right now. Not to your side. Your side, you are doing good, but their side. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I envision Fargo as diverse, meaning, in fact, we have so many different communities that can, number one, come out and share their ethnic grouping, their cultural formalities, and their background. From an equity standpoint, making sure that all opportunities are fair and equitable across the board. Inclusiveness, as I think about it, is celebrating and respecting all voices in the community. Whether you're white, black, purple, green, it really doesn't matter. That can be done. The steps that I would take is, number one, I would educate, as I've been doing. I will continuously educate, as I've been doing, because education to me creates awareness. Policy development. As I said earlier, I want to work with HR in the city of Fargo to include inclusiveness policies. So when I'm doing what I'm doing, I can always refer back and say, you know what? That's in policy. That is in policy. I'm not doing anything illegal. Because, see, we like to use terms like affirmative action and all of these terms, if you will. I'm here to bring together, not divide. Everybody should be inclusive. Community engagement is a pivotal big thing for me. Listening and involving each and every residence. Listening and involving every person that comes to the city of Fargo. We were voted within the top 5 cities for a reason. To come here, to be inclusive, to come here for jobs, etc. We are in the top 5. So with that being said, we need to give more evidence and more reference to that. Then I want to say partnership. Okay, it's collaborating with diverse organizations, stakeholders, whatever it may be, because it is vitally important. They're part of this community, you see. And last but not least, I would say, well, continuous improvement in regards to adapting to and involving needs and those challenges that we incur every single day. We can get past challenges. All we need to do is actually work together, have communication, clear communication.
Mm-hmm.
And I double dang guarantee you, when you have all of these things in place, now you have an inclusive Fargo. Now you have a welcoming Fargo. Now you have an equitable Fargo. But together we can do it.
Thank you very much,
It's a
Terry.
pleasure.
Very much for coming, and I'm so excited because this will be something that those who doesn't even know what equity, the diversity equity is like, they will understand it from here because it's going to be on different platforms. We are on TikTok, we are on the TV, we are Facebook, everywhere. It will be there, and even on our platform, it's going to be there. I know everybody is listening, so if you don't know, but all what I'm telling the leaders in the community, your job is to help Terry Hogan to make sure he accomplish why he is here. We shouldn't let the work become so tough on him. We should help him to make sure everything is done and to help our community too, as he is always contemplating to do it. My name is Charles. This is Art Network. Thank you for those who had a chance to watch us and those who had a chance to listen to us. And we will end there. Unless, Terry Hogan, you have something else to say. Other than that, we are going to end the interaction here.
And let's stay together as brothers and sisters. This is who we are. And let's get it done. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming, Terugan. And I know anytime I invite you, you will be here. And we are also thinking of having one day in every week to talk about diversity so that the community would definitely understand what his job is and so that we can also help him in every area of the way. So thank you very much for coming. We will end the show here. See